Alrighty, so here we are back with another episode of Tropico 6, and today we are on to episode number 2 of our Dystopia playthrough. In the last episode we made it through the first era, through the colonial era, and into the World Wars era. So in this episode I would like to make it through the World Wars era. However, that's not really going to be the main focus of this episode. What is going to be the main focus is just making sure that we are building the island up correctly. So let's get into it. Alrighty. So here we are. And I've been giving it plenty of thought, and you know what I've come to conclude? It is that I should build up nothing but mines for a bit. Just mine, well, oh yeah, we have nickel and iron up here. And I'm more than willing to, and even some extra coal. But I'm more than willing to completely mine out all of these deposits and trade away all of these goods, all of these resources. And so what I'm going to start off doing today is building a road down this way and constructing up a bunch of mines. And then using these mines to funnel a lot of money into the island. That is going to be the main goal. And that should be fine. Now, I'm curious. Plenty of vacant homes, a handful of vacant jobs. That's okay. And so we'll keep on keeping things well off for everyone. At least for a while. This is all of the mines that we're going to be able to construct. And so I'll additionally build up probably some logging camps. Go ahead and do a bit of industry like a lumber mill. And so speaking about industry, it's probably going to be a pretty good idea to continue doing the loot raids that give us sugar. Yes. And in doing so, that's going to fund our rum distillery over here. And what I'm kind of thinking is I should decrease the efficiency of this building, because we don't really, we don't want to consume all of our sugar too quickly. Because that means that we're paying these people a lot of money, and then there'll be no sugar being turned into rum for a while we're waiting for more sugar to show up, and we'll continue to be paying them way too much money. And so we'll decrease the budget for now, and if we run into future issues, then there's lots of decisions that we could make. I could also do dunder still in this building, which I think I'm going to do right now. We have plenty of vacant housing. 9 vacant homes. There should be absolutely no issues with the wealth. There's a handful of poor people though. Some people in this logging camp. Even though they make plenty enough money, it's probably due to the fact that there's a handful of unemployed people. Even though there's vacant jobs. So this is just like a bit of a waiting game. We just need them to get their necessary jobs. And then we'll be in a pretty good spot. I'm not going to build the groceries up. Probably, oof, what is this noise? Is this road bowing out? I'm not too sure what the issue is here. But it looks like we're missing out on a bunch of bananas being produced, but that's okay. And so we just need to make sure that our infrastructure is running smooth enough. Yes, we have a lot of goods being produced all over the island now. Thousands of units there, thousands of units here and there. Probably going to be thousands of units up here hanging out. There is. So this is telling me that we need even more Teamsters offices. So let's go ahead and do 2. For now, let's go ahead and put these on high priority. And that should be all well enough. So I'm not sure if I've ever talked about this, but here we have a coal mine. And if I control click the budgets, it's going to change the budgets on every other mine, right? It says control click set budget for all buildings of the same type. So this doesn't exclude mines of different resources, right? So we're getting every single mine, even if there was like an iron or gold mine somewhere else on the island, or even on like a different archipelago or another island in our archipelago. And so what's really nice is setting the budget this way will quickly allow you to control a very large amount of your economy all over the whole entire island. And so additionally, the budgets can be control clicked, and this will set the budgets for all of these mines that are still under construction. So as soon as they are up and running, they'll actually be set to the max budget already. Same thing works with upgrades. If I was to get Canary, which every single mine can get, as you can see, there's only 4 mines that are finished. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 in total, and I think this mine just finished, and as you can see, it's on the max budget already. And same thing with the upgrades. If we were to control click, as you can see, it says 10 buildings there, even though there's only 5 up and running right now. And that's because the upgrades will instantly be upgraded for any buildings even under construction, so that's really nice. And so, like, that's a pretty good way to manage your island. So as we can see, we want the budgets for our Teamsters offices to be on the second highest budget, and so in doing a control click here, that's going to set the Teamsters offices. And so here we can wait, and usually it's going to be on the middle budget, right, whenever a building's finished. And as we'll see here shortly, it should be, yep, it's already on the second highest budget. So that's a really nice way to control a lot of things. It works with housing, it works with every building, as long as they're the same building type, right? So that's going to exclude things like if we were to control click the budget for country houses, it's not going to do it for houses. It's got to be the exact same building type. But this doesn't mean different resources, right? So if I was to control click, let's say bananas, it would change the budget for even corn, as long as they're plantations. But again, that's not going to happen if I do a control click on plantations. It's not going to change it for hydroponic plantations. So there's that real quick. I seen a comment recently. But the only sad thing is this doesn't work for the work modes. But I did see a comment recently and someone was asking about that, so I thought I'd clarify real quick. Anyway, so we're going to continue building things up, and what's really nice about doing a well-off population this early on is now we're actually going to have very high support for a while. And so I want things to be just very civil for kind of as long as possible. Get this island completely up and running if I can. And I did talk about, like near the end of the last episode, setting up additional islands for different things, and that's going to be very, very cool. And so I will come over here eventually and start building up a bunch of poor housing and stuff like that, but we'll keep the happinesses up as high as possible, even in like various locations around the archipelago. And so what I'm kind of thinking would be interesting is I've talked about it plenty of times. Doing pineapples. Ooh, look at this area. This area up here is perfect. I think this is going to be the spot for us. And so I want to do pineapple plantations. I think we have one actually. Yes, we have pineapple plantations here. And if we look at their upgrades, pollination parcel increases efficiency on nearby pineapple plantations by 3%. And it doesn't say up to a cap of, right? So this is uncapped. So 3% bonus to all plantations that are pineapple plantations nearby, and you can see the blue circle there. You can kind of cram a lot of plantations within a very close proximity of one another, and so that'll be pretty cool, just to get the efficiencies like through the roof. And I kind of want to make one island specifically for that, and we'll probably end up setting this location here up for that, just doing as many plantations as possible. Pineapple plantations, and get just a copious amount of pineapples for sale. That'll be really cool. Gold mines over here, some other things just all around. We'll probably mix in the industry amongst all of the poorer islands in our archipelago. It just depends. But now what I'm curious about is the fact that I should honestly be setting up our embassy. So let's go ahead and do that. I think here's probably a pretty good spot, nice and snug next to the palace. This area here, this is all going to be eventually paved over. We're going to change this all up, and so that is to come. This is going to be just a bunch of like towny buildings, so we'll have like theaters and libraries and stuff like this, and there'll be no production or industry in this area or even on this entire island. Maybe a couple of like richer ones. What I'm kind of thinking could be interesting is something like a jewelry workshop, just stuff that is more luxurious, but something like a steel mill, which is going to be by contrast rather laborious. We will mix this in amongst our poorer populations, but stuff like jewelry workshops, I'm thinking maybe a vehicle factory or electronics, fashion companies, pharmaceutical companies, juiceries, just the nicer buildings will make for our population. And so we have our embassy set down, and it's probably going to be a good idea to go ahead and do the commando garrison now. Now we definitely want this to be rather far away from our population. But keeping it close to the dock is also going to be rather beneficial. What I'm thinking, maybe a good spot could be somewhere around here. Yeah, I like that. So let's go ahead and put that there and build this on over to here. Now, we want the embassy to be built first. Let's put that on high priority and press play. We want the embassy first because we can start getting the relation with... We're probably going to go with the axes. I mean, it really genuinely doesn't matter. It's all just flavor, but we'll go with the axes for this one. And getting the embassy up right away is going to allow us to start making them pretty happy pretty quickly. Now, manure. We don't have a whole lot of manure. And this means, like, the longer our little manure spreader here is without manure, the more we're going to run into soil degradation. As you can see, it's like up to around 8 around here. Still in the green, so that's good. Build an import trade route with the axes. That's really good because this, just by fulfilling the import trade route, it's going to make them probably quite happy with us, right? So we can do something like cheese. That's pretty easy. But because we have an actual, like, mission and objective here, an axes demand, fulfilling this is going to make them even more happy. So that's going to be doubly effective. So let's go ahead and start this one. Now we just need to wait for a ship to show up. Make sure no sugar is being funneled out of our island and all of it's being pushed into the rum distillery here. It's kind of a bad idea to put the embassy right next to our rum distillery because there is pollution. I've actually never seen this Web 0 because I never put it near industry, but today I kind of screwed up. That's okay. Reach a state of alliance. Let's go ahead and put the Commando Garrison on high priority as well. And as you can see, every single new mine is going to be on the max budget, which is really nice. But what does kind of suck is we got to go through Control-Click Profit Protocol. As you can see, I just did it, but this building just finished being constructed, and this one doesn't have Profit Protocol. So work modes you have to go through every single time something's finished. Produce some boats, we're not really worried about that. Ship's about to show up, 17k, we're making good money. Very, very good to see. A bunch of logs being pushed out. There's cheese. We'll take the 2,000 extra dollars, and that should be them happy enough. 81, really good. So we can request an alliance now. And now all we gotta do is fulfill our necessary sabotages. Now, I've been getting really lucky for the past handful of series, and I kind of feel like we're gonna run out of luck, but I'm not too worried about that. Here's our raid that just got finished. Let's go ahead and do another sugar raid. And as you can see, just in time, we're running out of sugar. Just as more sugar shows up. That's really nice. So this means that they'll get the sugar and bring it here.
They do wear underwear. It is unwise to go to war without it.
So what I'm going to do is actually decrease the budget a little bit more. It's still keeping the wage above 14. But this is going to slow down production, which is fine with us because we're not really producing enough sugar for that to really be an issue, so that's good. Support just tanked for some reason. It might be due to the fact that we have plenty of housing, plenty of vacant jobs, so everything should be really, really good. Maybe it has something to do with, for some reason the capitalists are rather upset. Did we ever finish researching? No, we're really close to finishing our newspaper. We can set this to red star, start pushing everyone away from the capitalist faction. And so I was talking about something in the last episode, and what ended up happening was I got distracted and I forgot to finish talking about it. So I was talking about the Ministry of Information, and so with this series we get to check out a lot of the really cool things. Things that you don't really get to go check out. So in media and education, we have, maybe it's not this, tourism, public services, that's where it is. We have the asylum, treats persons you institutionalize. And so that's kind of a frightening thing for society to want asylums to kind of get rid of your political views. In real life, that'd be a very scary country to live in. And so we get to check this out, and it's going to be really cool. There's an achievement for getting over 90% of your population to follow a certain faction, so I'm not sure if I've unlocked that, but if I haven't, I definitely want to in this series. Alrighty. And so, I recently got a comment, and someone was asking about a very specific island, and they mention making a religious, militarist, and some other various faction, like supporting other various factions, and they mentioned something about a book, The Handmaid's Tale, I think is what it was, and it sounds really, really interesting. I have no idea about this story. I quickly googled it last night. I seen it was a show and a movie, I believe a movie from the 90s, and so it seems really, really interesting, and it's something I never really considered because with most of the factions, you don't really want to support both sides. Capitalists, like anytime we do something for the capitalists, it's going to make the communists upset and vice versa. And so doing both religious and militarist kind of does actually function. Like, it's something that I think about. Like, here in America, it seems like, at least, you know, yester century, the country was rather quite religious and militarist. And so that's always been kind of in the back of my mind, but with most of the factions, I never support both sides. So that's going to be really interesting too. Check this out. Doing both religious and militarist. They also mention that there's some other really intense things like contraception ban, and I believe in the Constitution we can go to marriage rights. There's something, forced marriage. Each citizen will marry another adult from the opposite gender as soon as they come of age, and in religion and state doing a theocracy. So there's like all sorts of really, really crazy things. It'll be really interesting to check that out, but I definitely want to go back to the tourism island, revisit that, and I've been putting a lot of thought into that the past couple of days, redoing that entire series. So there's lots of really interesting stuff that's going to be happening on the channel pretty soon, and honestly it probably would be a good idea to actually start upgrading all of these country houses into actual houses. So let's go ahead and start doing that as soon as we need extra housing. Unlock the house here. Check our population. We have homeless families, so let's start upgrading just a handful at a time. We can do modernize. Modernize. We want around 7. We'll do 6 though. So in modernizing a house, it's going to increase the amount of housing slots by 1. And so that should be just enough. Yep, homeless families 10, vacant homes 10. And everyone should be well off on our entire island. As we can see, that's true. Really, really nice.
More than just El Presidente's favorite radio station. What does that say? Love. We love El Presidente with all our hearts.
Let's go ahead and switch all of our country houses to Little Eden by control clicking this and then control click the budget down one. This is giving us a housing quality of 50. I kind of feel like that's maybe the reason that the support was going down. Because I kind of forgot about that for a long time. But that should be okay. We can actually decrease the budget on all of our houses as well. So there is all of that. Did we finish? We did finish researching the news station, so let's go ahead and change this to Red Star. Start influencing everyone towards the... What is this? The communist faction. That would be really nice as time goes on. And as a matter of fact, I could go through, demolish up these 2 houses in this park, make another newspaper, and start influencing everyone towards, or away from, yeah, okay. I want to stick to the idea of George Orwell's 1948. Definitely one of my favorite books that I've read recently. And in the book, I think they've completely outlawed religion. I'm pretty sure. And so that'll be interesting to go through and get rid of all of the religious people on the island. Definitely an appalling thing to do in real life, but this is a video game, so that'll be pretty cool. And we can start checking out some really intense edicts and constitution topics for this. One of them is going to be, I'm not sure where it is it here? Ooh, we could do something, actually no, not church fee, but it is bells to bullets. Decreases the efficiency of all religious buildings by 20, increases the hit points and damage of military squads by 10%. So that will be cool. On top of that, we also have some constitution topics. A complete contrast of the idea that I was just talking about of doing a theocratic militarist state. We're going to make this an atheist state, right? Outlaw all the religion. Increases the efficiency of education and research buildings by 50%. That's nice. Disables religious buildings. That's not nice. Citizens are less likely to orient their political views towards the religious faction, so that'll be cool. And we can also do forced marriage. So whenever you decrease the religious happiness, not religious happiness, but the faith happiness of your island, people don't really want to start families. And so in doing atheist state, that's definitely going to be the case. And so by forcing people to get married, we can actually force them to have families, and then we can do something like contraception ban. I believe in 1948, this is actually in effect a contraception ban. So that'll be pretty intense and cool to see. There's some other various things. We'll probably end up going with good old days. I think we'll make this a conservative state as well. Yeah, definitely want to make this conservative and not intellectual. And then there's one final one, industry. We'll probably do, yeah, an industrial island, because that just makes sense. Okay, so now that that's all tied together, let's actually go ahead, demolish up this housing here. We will, to compensate, go ahead and modernize 2 additional, actually we got to do 4. So there was 2, let's actually just do 5 to get it out of the way. Costing us a fair bit of money, but these houses are going to generate way more money over time, so that's nice. Build a radio station we will eventually, but not right this moment. Let's go ahead and get a second newspaper down. Kind of looks goofy, but it'll be okay. The reason I want it right across the street is because it will affect roughly the same amount of housing. So there's that. Let's go ahead and quick build it. It's only 900 bucks. Pretty cheap building to quick build, max out the budget, and let's go ahead and put this on Gunny. And we're going to want to build a high school at some point. Maybe we'll do it now or pretty soon in the very least. The money doesn't seem like we have a whole lot of it right now. Very soon. Okay, so let's actually increase the budget of the rum distillery because it looks like we're about to have like 2,000 units of sugar in here. So go ahead and, oh yeah, that's 1,800 there on top of this. That's like almost 3,000. So let's go ahead and we could probably even increase it just a little bit more. And we have this done, so I should have actually, oh, not Guerrilla Patrol, cancel that. No, we wasted a bunch of raid points there, I believe, but that's okay. Sabotage the allies, 1, 2, 3, 4. We just need that all to go through. And we'll be on to the next era. I'm not terribly worried about getting that done as quickly as possible. Definitely want to spend some time making this look very nice. Homeless families, we have a bunch of them. Plenty of vacant homes still, so let's start upgrading even more houses. Ooh, do we not have urban development? No, urban development is turned off. Hopefully not for too long because it's making the modernize actually cost way more money. So that is a bit of a detriment to our treasury, but it's okay. Homeless families. Okay, now we have enough. Decrease the budget just a little bit. As long as we're keeping the population relatively happy, I'm content with it. Healthcare is really low, so this means that we should build up a clinic. And I established this in the last episode. I did want to build one here, so let's go ahead and put that there. And for now, I think it would probably be a good idea to continue to at least give them like their chapel and stuff. Keep them as happy as possible for as long as possible. And start changing things up on them as time goes on. Crime safety is down a little bit. It's really nice not having to worry about corruption. So I can start stealing money into our Swiss bank account and spending it, and that'll be really cool. Let's go to ×2 speed. The island should be net positive. We have like a whole lot of goods out here. Lots of vacant jobs. We gotta go through, control click this. Everything should be a-okay now. Wealth of the island's looking really good. Everything's tip top. And yeah, we just need money and time for expansion. Fire up here. It'd probably be a better idea to just demolish the building, honestly. That's okay. Bunch of homeless families. So let's go through and continue upgrading these. What do we got here? Looks like we need roughly 3 more. 2. And 3. That should be enough. It's costing a lot of money, but it's definitely a worthy investment. And just like before, we need to control click on the second lowest budget. 9,000. The economy doesn't seem to be doing that great. Hopefully it's not due to the fact that we're paying people too much money. We just need more people to show up. Let's go ahead and upgrade 5 new homes. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay. Now, they want us to build a radio station. I probably won't build one in this era. Maybe not just in this episode. Reason being is that requires electricity, and I don't really feel like going through the trouble of setting up a power plant. So I'll probably just do without it. We don't really need it. The reason I like getting them is to actually influence the third faction. So the first two I like to control with newspapers, and then the third set of factions I like to control with radio stations. So for now, these two newspapers are definitely a-okay. 126 propaganda successes in its lifetime. This one's got 51. That's really good. So as we can see, well, I guess we can't really see, but the communist faction, we can see it's starting to grow more than the capitalist faction. Very good. Why are the capitalists so happy? Oh, it's because we're building up houses. And then the communist, oh, they don't really mind that we're building up houses. That's really nice. That's something that I didn't really know. Militarist faction hates the fact that we're building up houses. Kind of whatever. And so that's nice. So the communist faction doesn't care we're building houses. Militarist faction does care, but we're not going to build a lot. Once we build like what we need, then we won't build anymore for probably the rest of the island, the rest of the playthrough. Now what I'm curious about is which buildings am I missing out on now? El Presidente Club. I'm pretty sure. Yep, we don't have the El Presidente Club because we don't have Lobbyistico, and so that's kind of a drag. We don't get to do the build whatever options in that, and so that was always really nice, but it'll be okay. We don't really need it if we're going to be able to steal money into our Swiss bank account. 20k, very good. These guys, let's go ahead and do more sugar raids. 1100 here, so let's decrease the budget. We don't want to shoot through all of our sugar too quickly. Pirates are gathering. This is the furthest one up here, so we just need this pirate. Veronica? From Germany. Is that how Germans spell Veronica? That's a pretty weird way to spell it. Nice. Speaking about inefficiencies, I should probably set up a bus station. At least just one for now. So let's go ahead and, well, no, because in doing so, that's going to potentially create some poor individuals on the island, and we will just suffer instead for a bit. 3,000. Why is the dock on such a high budget? I don't remember why I put it up so high. Let's go check on our buildings. We just don't want too much production units sitting around for too long. Okay. Things seem to be a-okay.
Time now for the Canal Uno business news.
I guess not. Whenever you see this plane land, that usually means that a sabotage raid is about to complete, just like that. And what's really nice is they had enough raid points to show up and then instantly leave, so that's pretty cool. And we kind of need a lot of raid points to keep up our sugar production. Nice, okay. Sitting here thinking about it. The high school would be nice because we can start educating our population, and if we research it, which I believe we can now. No, we gotta wait for the next era. Okay. So we'll wait to build up a high school for the next era. Nothing else that I'm really thinking about. Let's go ahead and find our clinic. Put it on the max budget. Anesthetization. Yes, everything seems to be totally fine. So they're just now leaving on the raid. So let's go ahead and decrease the budget a bit. That's okay. Slow down on the sugar consumption. And, I mean, just for the aesthetics, I'm gonna go ahead and put some parks out front of the palace. What I'm kind of thinking could look kind of cool is doing this one. And then maybe this one. And that one. Cool. So that looks neat. Being as efficient as possible. Let's check in on the soil degradation. Hopefully it's not been getting worse. No, it's actually been getting better. So we're definitely producing enough manure to keep things a-okay. That's good. That means we can leave these buildings on monoculture. We don't need to rely on the multicultural work mode. That's really nice. Logging camps now. I should probably build up our first industry building, start producing some planks. So let's go ahead and consider doing that with the lumberman. Ooh, look at that. I want to do this, but that's going to be a lot of industry right next to our embassy. And I guess it doesn't really matter. Let's go ahead and do it anyways. A very snug little community here. Right behind the library is some goats and cattle. I haven't really thought about it in a long time, but just like looking at the little things, it's been reminding me of the first time, like the way that the roads connect, like road access. It's just been reminding me of how much I used to play this game as a kid and just like all my various thoughts about it. Tropico is definitely one of my favorite city building games of all time. Resource management. Very, very nice.
It has been confirmed that our beloved military mascot, Capitan Tropico, will be appearing at the Tropico Service Organization Gala. Morale ahoy!
Morale ahoy. Nice. This is a really cool community. Everything is just functioning very, very well. So now we have this. Let's go ahead and just leave it on the normal budget for now. That should be okay. Another sabotage raid completed. Another loot raid completed. We just sold a bunch of stuff. And we're doing really, really good. So let's leave this building on the second to lowest budget for a while. I think that'll be okay. Let's go up here and demolish this. We don't have any way to put out fires, so might as well get them out of the way now. 5 homeless families. So in those 2 burnt down houses, in their old spots, let's go ahead and build some new homes. That seems okay. We'll let them get constructed. 223, that's really nice. 116, very, very good. Coal's on a downtrend, that kind of sucks. But what I kind of want to see is for these deposits to rather quickly get depleted. And as you can see, we've only like pulled out 20,000 units of coal. And I would like these to go a little bit quicker, but that's okay. We need some vacant jobs, so what you can do is actually control click your coal preparation plants, or your coal mines with the upgrade here, coal preparation plant, and that's going to do 2 times how many buildings are affecting, so 6, that's 12 jobs. Nice. And so that means more coal being pulled out of the ground as well, so really, really good. Kind of costly, but that's more jobs and pretty much equals out to like a whole additional mine, which is really nice. Child allowances levels up. That's good, it means we're spending less money. As we can see, child allowances, it used to be I believe $3 when it's got no stars, and it goes down to $1 per child per month at 2 stars, which is really cool. Everything is tip top here. Oh, and it looks like our plantation here has been mended. I don't know what the issue was. Anytime I see any of the shacks being constructed, I want to destroy them in the hopes that it's going to encourage people to find a new home instead. Decrease the budget, double check that these are down a budget as well, put them on Little Eden, and that should be good. Homeless families, vacant homes, let's get like 3 homes modernized. That should be good. There we go. Alrighty. Now, while the island is continuing to grow, I kind of want to consider some edicts here. Employee of the month. I'm not sure if this is a very 1948 thing to do. What I think is interesting though is Big Brother. I'm not sure if that's like the first place that George Orwell ever kind of mentions. Big Brother is in 1948, but Big Brother is going to be a very interesting thing.
Announcement from the palace declares that we are definitely winning the war. Keep listening to find out which side we are currently on.
And so, what I think is kind of funny is Penultimo actually mentions Big Brother. He calls him Hermano Mejor, which means Big Brother in Spanish, right? So I think that's pretty cool. Homeless families, vacant homes, we're still doing alright. And then once we run out of spare vacant homes, we're going to have to start constructing homes. But for now, we can just keep on upgrading these, and that is going to gradually give us more and more money. So I'll show you what I mean by that. If you look at this building, it's giving us a monthly income. No one's living in that one. But here, it's completely full. And this is giving us a monthly income of $28, and we're spending $10. So that means that we're netting $18 a month off of one country house that's full, right? But if you look at a house, we're spending $12 and we're making $54. So a full house, normal house, is netting us way more money. And so that is why we are going through and modernizing all of our country houses. It's going to definitely be a lot more beneficial. And so I like, whenever I'm coming up with these ideas for different island builds, I like kind of thinking about edicts and, you know, stories from other places and buildings and constitution topics, and just all sorts of things are coming into effect whenever I'm considering things. And so, like, one is an edict which is called free housing. Like, try and come up with an idea for an island that utilizes free housing. Like, how would that look? How would you make that efficient, considering the fact that if we do houses here, we're making so much money? Like, let's go through to our economy and check what it is. Revenue, local services, rents, we're making $23,000. I believe this is every 12 years, or no, 12 months. So we're making $24,000 a year. And so imagine we had $24,000 less, right? And then if we look at the expenses, we have upkeep. The houses we're spending $4,000, so we're netting roughly somewhere in the realm of probably around $20K off of our homes every year. So imagine not being able to gather all of that money, right? On top of that, that also means that, as we can see, well off. People need to be well off to live in these houses. Like, there's no other option.
The task is done. You ask how much you are to be paid? A questioning intellect is to be respected, Presidente.
I was taught philosophy as a boy. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Did you know that? Then I joined the army. And now I must be very strong indeed. Okay. So that's nice. Let's see if we get lucky today. Yep, I knew it.
To support the glorious Axis. Do not change your mind. We hate mind changes.
Like, I'm not a very lucky person, but I feel like I can just foretell the future. I don't know what it is, but either way, we have to wait 10 years. Totally content with that.
Presidente today took a courageous step by forming an audacious alliance with the spunky Axis. Now they won't invade us.
310 there, 207, very, very good. Let's check on our factions. 100 communists to 79 capitalists, and 90 militarists to 90 religious. So this one's equalized out, and this one is starting to really turn everyone into the communists, which is nice. And as we can see, we have a lot of diehard communists and not quite as many diehard capitalists. So there is that. Support isn't doing too hot, and the main reason is you can see the difference in these two lines here is slowly starting to dwindle. And the Caribbean happiness is going to probably overshoot our overall happiness if we don't deal with it soon. So it'll probably be in our best interest to set up another clinic. I'm kind of thinking we can make a bit of a towny area around here. That'll be okay. So, I suppose the first building should be, or could be. You know what I want to do is actually set up, how's this building doing? It's probably going to be full all the time. We're not generating any additional funds from it, but let's go ahead and set up a new building. Let's do a restaurant. And I want to do yet another theater. I think that'll be nice. Back as far as possible, and then what I want to do is to oppose it, let's do a clinic over here. And we can do a bit of a park in the middle. So what I'm thinking is something like that, something like this, and then I'll decide what I want here later on. Now, so there's those two buildings under construction. I want to do a restaurant as well. Well, we'll wait for this theater, and if... Oh, you know what? The restaurant's actually going to be a good idea. So, I would always see it. Like, there's something called catering, which I believe will increase the food happiness of your population. And so, like, it was always like, oh, like I would think, like, that's nice. That's cool that works. But I didn't really, like, 100% take that into full consideration until I seen a comment recently. And they were talking about how whenever I failed the tourist island, it probably would have been a good idea to have set up a lot more restaurants because they're going to increase the food happiness of the island. And so, after reading that comment, I was like, oh, okay. Like, I knew that, but I just didn't, like, really... Like, I don't know, it just didn't fully click, I guess, so. We're not actually making any groceries, so our food happiness is, like, hard capped at 57. It won't get any higher than this ever, but I believe in doing a restaurant, we can get this higher than 57. So let's actually look at that. Food 53, I wonder why it's not that high. But as you can see, here's catering. So let's go ahead and set up our first restaurant. Thinking like that might be good. And we can do a park right here. That'll probably be a-okay. Why is the beauty down in that area? I wonder. It might be due to the fact that pollution will, if we read right here, builds up over time, mainly caused by industrial, followed by residential buildings, decreases beauty and fertility in the area. And as we can see, the pollution is starting to build up in this, like all throughout these neighborhoods, which isn't great. And so we don't actually have access to any form of pollution control, waste management. So kind of an issue, but over time it'll be okay, I think. Well, we don't really need the beauty anyways, but it'll be alright eventually. Let's go and max out the budget. Very good, we just need people to staff it. And let's go check in on our population. We should still... Oh, we have nice... Plenty of vacant jobs. Homeless families, 3.
Military action warned that it can happen here. So remember to donate your unwanted bullets to keep our brave soldiers firing.
Yeah, plenty of well-off people. That's really nice. Unemployed, homeless families, very, very good. I was just talking about something, but I done forget it. Military buildings, and we won't worry about that quite yet. Hopefully we don't run into any rebellion. I doubt we will. It'd probably be a good idea to do a bank as well. That'll be a lot of money that we'll be generating. A customs office. I haven't really put any thought into import or exports, but back to what I was talking about a bit earlier. Like trying to come up with interesting build ideas and doing the free housing edicts. Something pretty interesting about it is only well-off people can use houses, but if you had free housing, anyone can live in any house, right? So poor and broke people can live in mansions. So there's like all sorts of like really interesting ideas, but of course, right, like mansions aren't going to generate any rent at that point. But there was like lots of interesting ideas, and so that is one of them. It's like, what can you do with all these different edicts and stuff in the game? How can you twist and contort it to make things really, really cool? Fulfill export trade route with Axis, not really worried about it. A service quality of 82, that's nice. the clinic, max out budget, anesthetization. I just need to like practice saying that word because I always say it in this channel, or I always want to say it. But I'm not the greatest linguistic there is. Let's go ahead and continue doing, let's queue up 2 of these. I've been forgetting about them. And as for the commando garrison, we don't really need this building right now. Like, let's look at the raids. Do we need to do any of this? No. Intimidate neighbors. What kind of sucks is that this doesn't last that long. Like, it'll decrease Caribbean happiness by 5%, right? Our support goes down whenever our overall happiness is below the Caribbean happiness, which, as you can see, it's getting really close. So you can imagine decreasing this by 5%, it'll like shoot down. But within like just a couple months, it like goes back up to normal, which is kind of annoying. I wish it would like last like a year, you know? And then maybe like slowly go up throughout the year. And instead of like stacking it, like going down, way down here, goes up a little bit, way down here, goes up a little bit, like that, what you could do is just make it like a certain percent, right? Like go back up, and instead of decreasing below like this line here, it'll like stay capped at a certain spot. I think that'd be interesting. So you could keep on repeatedly doing that, and it'll give you a rather good bonus to support. So there's Intimidate Neighbors, Guerrilla Patrol. We shouldn't have to worry about that too much quite yet, and we probably won't do this anyways. Sabotage, the Allies, and the Axes, don't need to worry about either of those. So as a matter of fact, let's go ahead and demolish this building. We don't need it. It's going to just be draining money while it sits there. It does generate raid points, which is rather nice, but we have like plenty, so we should be okay for a while. Classical staging, this is all looking really, really good. Yes, the island should be getting relatively pretty happy. So let's go to food happiness, catering. I don't know exactly. Let's see, citizens need to eat regularly. They can do so at home if they have enough food. Adults will go to production buildings or vendors like the grocery to stock up on food. Citizens with a very low food happiness might die of starvation. I'm wondering what catering does. I don't know. Because I'm pretty sure this gives them fun happiness. The restaurant. I mean, it's got to, right? Yeah, it provides fun to visiting citizens and tourists. Also increases the food happiness of visiting citizens. Oh. Eating at a restaurant is an enjoyable experience for romantic couples, exhausted families, and tourists. It remains so right up until the moment the cost of dining is revealed. Lol. So there's that. Checking on the population, unemployed, still have plenty of vacant homes. Everything seems to be going rather quite well right now. 6 new people showed up. What does that mean? We need a couple more new homes. Continue modernizing until we're done modernizing everything we can. 3 houses should be enough, I'm pretty sure. Yep. Perfect. Okay. Oh, man. Yeah, I've kind of like really messed up by not doing all of our loot raids, which is kind of whatever. Kind of sucks, but it'll be okay eventually as time goes on. As we can see, less people are coming down to this theater, which is a good sign. That means that we have more fun happiness buildings than there is population. And so that's really nice because that means that fun happiness should be above 76 no matter what, because everyone can go to a fun happiness building, and the lowest one is giving a service quality of 76. The restaurant should be full all the time, and this is going to help out with food happiness as well, I'm pretty sure. I'm not sure exactly what the numbers are. It would be nice to know. Oh, +7? What does that mean? +7. Does it increase food happiness by 7 points? I think so. That's really nice. So food happiness, if we come down here, we can see it's 57. So you can imagine 7 more points, if that's true. If the restaurant increases food happiness of visiting citizens by 7 points. Deliver a speech. Faith happiness is low, so we'll acknowledge that. Praise of action. We'll praise our communists because we're starting to get a lot of them. Blame. No one. Promise improvement. Nothing. Click on the broker. Okay.
I guess I had another name once. But you know what names are good for? They're good for getting you arrested, Presidente. Well, that's not my game. My game would be business. Which business? Hey, what have you got?
Hey, what have you got? Teamster's office. How could you be working in a Teamster's office and not be well off? Go through, check on our production buildings. We haven't built up production in a while, so I doubted that there was going to be any issues, and it looks like there isn't, so that's really nice. Okay. So that's all looking really, really good. Make sure everything's on profit protocol, max budget. Click on the poorer people. It's just people being unemployed, I think, is the only issue. There's 3 unemployed people with a high school education, so I think that they want something that has an equivalent high school education. So as a matter of fact, let's go ahead and build up a church. Why not? That should be okay. I think here... Oh, you know what? We don't need to build it right next to a road or anything. We can build it way over here. I think that'll be okay. And maybe we can extend... Yeah, we'll extend the housing out as much as possible this way. What we can do is... While urban development's no longer active. That's annoying. I guess we can do our planning with the little, what's it called here? The parks. So there'll be housing all within areas around these parks, and so right here there won't be, right? So what we can do is build a park out in front of this church. Let's do a 2x2. That looks good. Perfect. And let's go ahead and put this on high priority. Doesn't really matter, but might as well. Sugar. Did we ever finish our sugar rate? About 1 month. I believe a second one is queued up. Yes. Okay, so that's totally a-okay. Alternatively, we could try and find a sugar import. Could be a good idea, but I don't think it's that necessary. Yeah, there's no sugar imports anyways. We could import weapons. Make a free $8,000. I mean, we might as well, right? Let's go ahead and do that. Now, is there anything that we are producing that I want to sell? Rum. Yeah, let's do that. 14,000 units of rum. And that is, I believe, our only 2 trade routes. Coal would be good, but it's kind of whatever. Let's go check out the trade price of coal. Yeah, coal has shot down drastically. It's now worth half as much as it should be worth, which really isn't great, considering the fact that we built up so much coal production. Let's go through, demolish up all these little shacks. Hopefully get people to move into homes. 73 support, so things are looking up. Let's check overall happiness. As you can see, it's starting to climb away. That's why we're gaining support, I'm pretty sure. On top of that, we made the communist. I'm pretty happy with our little call out to them. Very, very nice. So things are looking up. And so, with the asylum, we'll be able to get rid of all of these diehard capitalists, which will be pretty important eventually. Population, homeless families. There's plenty of vacant housing. Let's just go through and modernize literally every single one of these. 8 buildings, 11,000. Let's do it. So there's all of that. Let's lower the budget. I haven't really done that in a while, so it should help out. I can't really think of... What's it called? Which park I want to do here. I guess we can do something like this. I guess that's fine. But yeah, we're starting to make another little towny spot. 14k, just pulled that out. That's okay. We had to buy 1,000 units of weapons. So that was worth 15,000. So we'll start generating some money after that. After we, like the initial investment. And then we get our investment money back in the end. So we'll just have to wait for all of that to go through. Let's actually go through and look at... Ooh, so we need... It'll only be 4 ships worth of weapons, which is okay. And we just need to continuously queue up more sugar rates. So let's go ahead and keep doing that. And just like that, we have sugar in our rum distillery. Very, very good to see. Trying to think of what else I want to build around here. Yeah, this is a nice looking little part of the town. Let us do a brief consideration in terms of what we want to build in this area. Public services, we don't really need any of this. We don't need any of the military or government buildings. Maybe a police station, but that's going to be a money sink, which we're not really in the position to do. A bank would be really nice. But again, we need plenty of money for that to be actually beneficial. 34k, and so we'll just keep on making plenty of money with all of... Oh wow, look at, they finished that raid so quickly. Way quicker than last time, it feels like. How many of these raids did I queue up? Only one more. You definitely don't want raids to be going off while the building isn't fully staffed, because it's just not going to be as efficient. But we should be alright. So 1800, I believe as long as we're continuously doing these raids, then we can keep this on the medium budget. So this episode is getting near its end mark, but definitely want to continue the growth for a while. Let's go ahead and max out the budget here. I could do shared seats, which is going to decrease service quality, but as long as our service quality is above the Caribbean happiness, I'm okay with it. And so there's 61. Our little chapel down here is giving us 57, which is okay. And we have plenty of healthcare buildings. Hopefully 2 is enough. It might not be. No, it should be enough. I doubt people really need to go too often. But yeah, that's like things are working out really well for us. We have a lumber mill, so we could start turning this into something like ships. That could be actually pretty good. Let's go and check the price of ships. Or boats, sorry, I keep saying ships, but they're boats. Yeah, this could be a really good deal for us. Let us go down, and planks are only selling for 2,000. And alternatively, boats are selling for almost 6 times as much. So let's go ahead and set that up. A shipyard. I mean, I guess we can go with that. That's okay. 30,000. It says that, but we won't actually make 30,000. Yeah, 21,000. So I talk about it in some other series, but I'll briefly mention it here. Right, there's 1,000 units of weapons, so every time a ship shows up, we're selling 1,000 units, and then we're importing 1,000 units, and then our profit is the difference in prices of those two. I'll allow everyone to vote freely. And so an easy way to tell what's going on is to minus from the expected revenue the import cost of 1,000 units of weapons, whatever we're paying right here. So we're importing weapons here for 12,780. So if we were to minus that amount from here, we're roughly going to net 12,000 if a ship showed up right now. And so that's an easy way to tell. It can get kind of confusing whenever you have like a lot of import deals going on, but with one it's pretty easy to tell what's going on. Yeah, this island is rather utopian. Everyone's really content. Everyone's happy with it. We're chilling. The island's happy. Production's good. The economy's good. Checking our population. Plenty of vacant homes and vacant jobs. Probably be a good idea to set up just a couple more job sites though. So let's go ahead and consider that. Let's do some logging camps for a bit. We can put one here. One here and one here. Connect these ones on up. Which is one road. Very nice. Let those get built up. 28,000 minus the 12 is giving me 16,000. But this might be... No. Let's check on the deal. How much more? Yeah, so after this one,
Election is a landslide, Presidente. The metaphorical kind, not the kind that accidentally reduces the size of the weapon.
Oh man, I keep on queuing up more. And we're down to like... We don't have enough people in the building, but as you can see, the weapons deal's now finished. And so the next time a ship shows up, we'll just straight up make whatever it says here. And so that's where it can get kind of confusing when you have a lot of import deals, but if a ship showed up right now, we'd make 16k, which is putting us over, like, a little over 40k, so that is nice. Vacant jobs, we don't have that many vacant jobs, so let's do more guards, that's probably okay. And things should be alright. We can build up, I believe, a bunch of additional logging camps up here. And so we'll just continue cruising along with this island, making it very, very, very nice for a while. And then once everything's tip-top, I probably want to sort of... Honestly, I'll probably stick with just this island until the Modern Times era. And then after that point, we'll start getting rather dystopian with it. And just kind of slowly be pulling the strings from the very beginning of this island, keeping everyone happy, keeping everything civil and nice, and then eventually turn it into a scary dystopia. That'll be really, really fun. But, oh yeah, we have to survive 10 years anyways. In the next episode, we should be like halfway through the episode, and we'll make it into the World War, or the Cold War era. But, I believe this episode should come to a wrap right around here. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to leave a like, and if you want to follow along with more Tropico series like this, then be sure to subscribe. Peace.